What a difference the day has made for the Bitcoin price and crypto in general. I made a video earlier on today talking about what was happening that's really significant in the Bitcoin price right now. And that's because something very, very key has happened. If you can see down below, guys, on the 4-hour chart, we've got this wick from around $25,300 that came all the way up to $27,600. Now, what has happened in this area is very significant. And the reason for that, guys, is if we jump out to the weekly, I want to show you what I was looking at earlier and what was giving me some indication of what's going on here. So guys, this is the weekly chart with a few key areas printed on it. Now, you can see that when we broke through this all the way back at the end of 2020, we came up pretty aggressively. We showed a big wick. We see these wicks, guys, when we get exhaustions in the market. So when it's going towards the upside and all the bulls are coming down on top of it, it's going to squeeze the price down. It's going to leave that wick, which is showing weakness in terms of where the direction is traveling. So if it's a green candle, it's got a big wick, then we're going to expect to see a movement towards the other side, and vice versa on the other side when we see a big red wick. So when we see big wicks towards the upside, expect to see downwards action. And when we see big wicks on the bottom side, expect that we're going to see a push towards the upside. Now, I'm not going to say that that's going to happen exactly straight away, because look here, guys, we had all of these wicks that happened in the space of around 6 to 7 weeks. But very crucially, this pattern is very interesting because we have wicked down below this green line, but right now we sit on top of this green line of resistance. And what's more crucial is actually where we wick to has made this way more predictable, way more obvious than perhaps everyone kind of thought initially. And I haven't really sort of seen this until now, but it became very clear when I was looking at this earlier what's going on. We've got this falling wedge pattern, guys, which ultimately, more often than not every time, does break towards the upside. Now, bearing in mind that the other side of this pattern is about the 18th of July, so it's not necessarily going to just zoom straight up from here. And we have seen a big push today from the bottom of around 25,000 of about $4,000. But crucially, notice where this wick came to. It perfectly lines up with what we're seeing here, guys. I was literally making a video this morning when we were sat down at this level, $25,000, $26,000, and I said that if we could maintain ourselves above this yellow line, we could well see a bounce and we could potentially be just wicking down through this green line. Now, it's not over. This weekly candle will close on Sunday, and right now it's currently Thursday night, so obviously we've got a good few days left where Bitcoin could potentially see further slippage. What would be very alarming for me for Bitcoin is if we had a drop and a close below this green line and then had a push further down. That would signal that potentially we are going to see further bloodbath action from crypto right now. But in terms of what I'm seeing, I'm looking pretty positively at what we've seen. I think I'm going to zoom into the 15-minute chart to show you a little bit more about what's going on. Now, looking at the 15-minute chart, guys, you can see other things happen. Obviously, the smaller patterns emerging. It does show to me that we have recovered nicely. We are sat currently above this key green line, but we are also forming another pattern, which looks like this. And as I've said, falling wedges tend to push towards the upside, and rising wedges tend to push towards the downside. So do not be surprised if perhaps we have a little bit of a relief rally, maybe towards the level of around $30,000, which is here. You can see, again, this is obviously a key resistance zone. And at 30K, perhaps our push back down towards this level. And obviously, because this is the line from the falling wedge, that would probably bring us down towards $25,000 again. But I'm not saying that's guaranteed. If you're waiting to buy at $25,000, or you've got a number in mind of exactly where you want to buy, you could be waiting for a very long time for that to happen. It might not even happen. So right now, what do you do? In terms of what I've been doing today, I've been accumulating down in these levels, just assuming that we're not going to go much lower than this. And if we do go much lower than that, then I can buy more. So for example, if you buy $100 worth of Bitcoin at $30,000 and Bitcoin goes to $20,000, and then you buy another $100, then your average price that you paid is $25,000. Then the average price you paid or per Bitcoin would have been $25,000. Obviously, it's in the middle or the average of both those prices. So ultimately, buying right now, I don't think is necessarily a bad option. Obviously, not financial advice. Go away and do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor. But dollar cost average. Don't blow all of your money into it right now, because it potentially might come lower and then you can buy more dips. But what will probably happen is, we're going to get this kind of relief rally towards the upside, and then you're going to get loads of people going FOMO long because they're seeing the charts, they're going up $4,000 or $5,000 in a day, and then suddenly you get this other like crash towards the downside, and then they panic and they sell, and then it goes back up. The whole roller coaster, we've all done it. That's why we need kind of like look after each other and think about what happens in this situation. I've done it before, and that's why I'm telling you. So right now, guys, I think in the shorter term, we could probably see a push to around $30,000. And then I think from around $30,000, we could well be due another cool off down towards the sort of 25,000 mark. But this large wick to the downside has made me feel a lot better about what's happening in crypto right now, and a lot more confident because it's showing that the bulls are really stepping in and pushing the price up, stopping the bears, and ultimately you're going to have a lot more people prepared to come in at these lower levels, a lot more buys, a lot more buy orders, etc. will get thrown in. A lot of people who've been paying attention to crypto for a long period of time are now starting to accumulate at these levels. And you've probably heard of everyone now wanting to know a bit about crypto because they know it's low and they know the opportunity. Because unlike before, there's actually been a lot more news circulated about the pumps and dumps and how it all works. Whereas before, people were just kind of FOMOing in without actually any knowledge. So interestingly, guys, right now I think Bitcoin is actually looking much safer than I think perhaps it was just yesterday, where we were so uncertain. And don't get me wrong, guys, I could be wrong. We could still take a significant drop below here. But ultimately, I don't think it's necessarily going to happen. At least, in my opinion, I think we could well see a further pushback and then something like this unfolding. As I've mentioned, this is into July, where I think we would then potentially look to recover. But look back previously, guys, this was what, 24th? This was the week of 17th of May last year, and you can see that we had a big wick towards the downside. We then had a little recovery. This one came down to 29. It went up to 40,000. And then again, it came down to 29. And then it came down to 29, 1/3 last time. And from 29, within the space of nearly a month, it went up to about $46,000. So right now, guys, I believe we're in an accumulation zone like this. And right now, that's why I'm purchasing Bitcoin and Ethereum and other cryptos. Now right now the altcoins have obviously been bleeding out pretty hard because they've got smaller market caps than Bitcoin. They take a bigger significant chunk out of them when they fall, because they fall really hard, and you've probably been feeling the pain, especially because of Luna and other things like that. But ultimately right now there's a lot of fear in the market, so don't be fearful, guys, because when you're fearful you make stupid decisions. Right now I don't believe we should be panic selling, but really doing what Warren Buffett says, which is being greedy when other people are fearful. When the market's super fearful like this, ultimately it kind of tends to mean we're around the bottom. Could be wrong. I'm pretty confident that I'm not. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, smash the like button. I'm going to try and do these emergency videos like I made earlier, and another one like I've just done now. And if you are new to the channel and you haven't already done so, then hit the subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye-bye.